In the heart of a small, forgotten town nestled deep within the dense forests of Griefswald, there lies a graveyard shrouded in mystery and fear. The air there is heavy with the weight of sorrow, and the whispers of the deceased echo through the ancient tombstones, telling tales of unfinished business and restless souls. Legend has it that Griefswald graveyard was cursed centuries ago by a powerful witch who sought revenge against the townsfolk who had wronged her. As punishment for their transgressions, she cursed the graveyard, condemning the souls buried there to an eternity of torment and unrest. From the moment the sun dips below the horizon, the graveyard transforms into a realm of darkness and dread. Shadows dance amongst the graves, and the mournful wails of the dead pierce the stillness of the night. Those foolish enough to venture into the cemetery after dark often speak of seeing ghostly apparitions drifting between the tombstones, their eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. One particularly chilling tale tells of the Lady in White, a spectral figure said to roam the graveyard in search of her lost love. With each passing night, she wanders amongst the graves, her ethereal form glowing in the moonlight as she calls out for her beloved. Those who have encountered her speak of a sense of overwhelming sadness that hangs heavy in the air, sending shivers down their spines and freezing them in place. But the Lady in White is not the only spirit to haunt Griefswald graveyard. There are whispers of a vengeful spirit known as the Banshee, whose piercing screams can be heard echoing through the night. It is said that her wails foretell of impending doom, and those who hear her cry are doomed to suffer a terrible fate. As if the ghosts themselves were not terrifying enough, the graveyard is also home to a host of malevolent creatures that lurk in the darkness, waiting to ensnare unsuspecting souls. Shadowy figures slink between the tombstones, their glowing eyes watching intently as they plot their next victim's demise. And in the depths of the cemetery's labyrinthine catacombs, something ancient and evil stirs, its presence sending waves of dread rippling through the air. Despite the horrors that lurk within its gates, Griefswald graveyard draws the curious and the foolish alike, each seeking to uncover the secrets that lie buried within its hallowed grounds. But those who dare to tread upon its soil do so at their own peril, for in the realm of the dead, there are no second chances, and the spirits of Griefswald graveyard are always hungry for new souls to claim. As the moon reached its zenith, casting an eerie glow upon the decrepit tombstones, a group of adventurous souls gathered at the edge of Griefswald graveyard. Ignoring the warnings of the townsfolk, they had come seeking thrills and excitement, eager to test their courage against the terrors that lurked within. With nervous laughter and whispered assurances, they stepped through the rusted gates, their footsteps muffled by the soft earth beneath their feet. The air grew thick with anticipation as they ventured deeper into the heart of the cemetery, their eyes darting nervously at every shadow that flitted across the moonlit ground. But as they delved further into the darkness, the atmosphere grew heavier, and a sense of unease settled over them like a suffocating blanket. Strange noises echoed through the night, and the shadows seemed to dance with a life of their own, twisting and contorting into grotesque shapes that sent shivers down their spines. Suddenly, a piercing scream shattered the silence, causing the group to freeze in terror. The sound was like nothing they had ever heard before, a soul-rending cry that seemed to echo from the depths of the earth itself. Panic-stricken, they turned to flee, but the graveyard seemed to shift and change around them, the paths twisting and turning like a maze with no escape. As they stumbled blindly through the darkness, they caught glimpses of ghostly figures lurking in the shadows, their eyes gleaming with malevolence as they reached out with spectral hands to drag the intruders into the depths below. Desperate to escape, the group fought to keep their fear at bay, but with each passing moment, the graveyard seemed to tighten its grip around them, its cursed soil thirsting for their blood. Just as they feared all hope was lost, a sudden burst of light pierced the darkness, illuminating a path to safety. With a renewed sense of determination, they raced towards the glowing beacon, their hearts pounding in their chests as they broke free from the graveyard's clutches. But even as they fled into the safety of the moonlit night, they knew that they had not escaped unscathed. For the terrors of Griefswald graveyard would haunt them forever, their nightmares filled with the echoes of screams and the chilling whispers of the dead. And so, the legend of Griefswald graveyard lived on, a cautionary tale whispered in hushed tones by those who dared to speak its name. For in that cursed place, the dead refused to rest, and the spirits of the past would forever roam the earth, hungering for the souls of the living.